All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barnun 11970. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to what I have to say, because I'm going to be honest, and I think this is definitely something we need to talk about, because the silence over this has gone on so long that people are starting to think that inappropriate behavior with children is okay, to the point where they're justifying some things. Now, as you could see by the headline of this video, I'm going to read some of the tweets. Now, when I heard that James Gunn got fired, basically all I heard was, yeah, he wrote some inappropriate tweets. And you kind of think, well, how bad could they have been? And I thought, because, you know, I have a comic book channel. I love Marvel. I love the Marvel movies. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy, both 1 and 2. I was actually, at first, disappointed that James Gunn got fired. Didn't read any of the tweets, but just assumed, well, you know, how bad could they have been? They're just tweets. Well, he deleted 10,000 inappropriate tweets. Well, it says he deleted 10,000 tweets. I don't know if all 10,000 are inappropriate, but I'm going to read some. And just be rest assured, I'm not going to say any curses, and I'm not going to show them, because some of them are quite disturbing. And after you hear some of the things and thoughts that went through this person's mind, you are not only going to say he was justified for being fired from making movies that are designed for children, but wonder why he's not in jail. Because what I find disturbing, if you go to my other channel, We Love Comics, that's where I started these videos. Read some of the comments. Now, you're going to not see them all, because I had to delete about 50 different nasty comments. And there are many people, which blew my mind, that are justifying what these people are doing as jokes. Now, normal people don't make jokes about snatching up children and having sex with underage boys or girls. That's just not normal. And it's especially not normal and definitely creepy when it's done repeatedly. I mean, I promise you, if you were at a bar, if you're a guy and you're at a bar with your girl that you love, whether she's your wife or your girlfriend, or even if you're a girl and you're with a guy, or you're with whoever you're with, and you're in love with this person, and somebody that you don't know comes up to you and starts talking about your spouse or your significant other, saying all these things that are sexual in nature, but then says, oh, I'm only joking. Are you telling me you're going to laugh at that person? Oh, that was pretty funny, the inappropriate things you said about my spouse. Or you're probably going to defend the honor of that person if you're that kind of person. And after reading some of the comments from some of these pedophilic apologetic people, it has come to my conclusion that most people, just like I've predicted over the years, never research anything and just believe what they're told. And right now, there is radio silence about this whole situation, and I've come to learn that Adult Swim, who is the TV show that has the Rick and Morty show, is supporting this potential, and I'll say potential, because I don't know, this potential person, well, let's just say a person that finds it funny to mount a baby doll. I hope that's as far as it ever goes. But Adult Swim is supporting him. So Roseanne got fired for a tweet. And Dan Harmon is going to keep his job, even though he is mounting a baby doll performing a sexual act. Interesting how Hollywood works. So I'm going to read some of the disturbing James Gunn tweets. And again, keep in mind, I'm not going to say any curses, and I'm not going to show them. There is a link in the description if you want to read them so you could see I'm not changing any words other than not saying the curse word. So you can verify it yourself. But after you read some of these and hear them, you are going to say he deserved to be fired, he should be investigated, and thrown in jail. Because I, unfortunately, didn't think they were that bad. Well, they would have been that bad until I actually saw them. So let's get into this article. That's the thing about the internet. Nothing is ever deleted. It's going to be there forever. So he can't hide from this. And they're running scared because, you know what? If he didn't do anything wrong, why would he delete them? He should justify them and say, well, this is my own freedom of speech if there's nothing wrong. You know, when you're caught doing something wrong, you try and cover up your mistake. And there are so many people on the comments that I saw on my other channel that were defending these people. Poor people that they're losing their job. Instead of saying, we need to investigate these people to make sure they're not actually wanting or are having sex with babies. So let's get into some of James Gunn's wonderful tweets. And I say that very facetiously. Okay, so James Gunn, first tweet. He abbreviates RT at Peter Alton. He writes, quote, I like it when little boys touch me in my silly place. And then he does shh, S-H-H-H. That was 09. And then the Peter Alton responds, why is at James Gunn always hanging out with one extremely large human being and one extremely small human being? Take that for as you will. Okay, so here's another one of James Gunn's tweets. This was done in 2010. The Expendables was so manly, I blanked the you-know-what out of the little, name for a cat, boy next to me. The boys are back in town. So he's saying he had literally, well, I don't know if he literally did it, but he said he wanted to have sex with the little boy that was sitting next to him. Okay, so here's another one. At Michael Rooker. And none of these people say anything about this or disturbed by this. So Michael Rooker, he's another actor. James Gunn tweets, dude, I should have invited you at CWOTD was in your movie. He said you had him castrate a little boy. Sounds like he's really into jokes about little boys. These are the jokes. Okay, so next quote. From 2012, and he puts this in quotes, Eagle snatches kid, end quote, is what I call it when I get lucky. That sound like a joke to you? He's talking about a code word for when he gets lucky with a kid. He calls it Eagle snatching kid. Alright, let's keep going. James Gunn. RT at Lloyd Kaufman. The first time I self-pleasured to Justin Bieber, it was a joke, but now I can't stop. He's like a jerk-off crack. That was done in 2010. Justin Bieber at that time was 17 years old. And James Lloyd Kaufman responds, the photos you posted are great. I love all the shots with you and Justin Bieber and with you and the Jonas Brothers. So people are excited that he says that he self-pleasures himself to these people and he's got photos with these people. Alright, so let's continue. So I'm going to read a bunch of them. And actually, I'm reading this. The tweet posted in September 2nd, 2010. Justin Bieber was born March 1st, 1994. So that puts Justin Bieber actually at 16 years old. So I stand corrected. Because I guess it does depend on what month. So he was born in September. So the end of March of 1994. So it says that puts him at 16. But even 16 or 17. That's still a minor in many states. And still creepy for a 40-year-old man to be talking about a either 16 or 17-year-old. Okay, here's another tweet. I'm doing a big Hollywood film, and this is September of 2011. I'm doing a big Hollywood film adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. The tree grows back and gives the kid a BJ. And again, I'm abbreviating. So another quote-unquote joke about kids. Okay, next one. In 2010, The Hardy Boys and the Mystery of What It Feels Like When Uncle Bernie Fists Me. Alright, but that... And it says, hashtag sad children's books. So I was going to say, well, that might not be about kids, but then he writes, hashtag sad children's books. Very interesting. Okay. Let's continue. Alright, so this was in 2012. James Gunn writes, tweets, watching Trapped in a Closet, R. Kelly's second best video after the one where he urinates on a child. Alright. Next one in 2009. About to vomit as I'm stuffed with etouffee, or I don't know what that is. Obviously, I'm not that sophisticated. And eggplant. I'm Louis Anderson my rear end out. Just the fat, not the little boys. See a pattern here? Alright, here's another one where it says, James Gunn may have linked to child pornography. Hudson Huddleston posted this video on my Facebook page with a note. I thought you'd appreciate this. My response is appreciate it, question mark. I just, you know what, all over my face. And the video is 100 pubescent girls touch themselves. September 2010. This person should be investigated. James Gunn works for Disney. That's just some of the quote-unquote jokes of him repeatedly talking about children. Now, and Vinjo Rubio says, what if Alex Jones did it? Perfectly okay? No, I hate Alex Jones. He's a shill, and if you listen to him, you are part of the lower vibrational problem, and you don't get it. So thank you for your assumption, but obviously it just shows people don't want to investigate, people don't want to ask questions, they just want to assume. This world these days is a bunch of people that are all about themselves, thinking that they can just say whatever they want and do whatever they want, and it's okay. So there are no news media stations talking about this. Remember Roseanne when she got fired? How long did it take before every news channel was all over that? What'd they say about James Gunn? Oh, he said a few inappropriate tweets. Did they actually mention them? What about the Dan Harmon and his quote-unquote joke about mounting a baby? Oh, it's a baby doll, but if you were ever around somebody, just imagine if you had a party and some stranger comes with one of your friends that you don't know, and you have a baby, and you see this person googly eyeing your baby, making all these sexual jokes and saying, oh, I'm only joking, even though your baby looks yummy, and then takes a baby doll and starts performing a reenactment of a sexual act. Are you telling me you wouldn't throw that person out? Would you sit there and laugh? Oh, that's so funny. Do me a favor. Can you babysit my baby tonight? We're all going to go out. Would you leave that person alone with your child? Hollywood's job is to normalize pedophilia by making it jokes. I mean, have you ever had it in your life where somebody said something where they were trying to figure out if you were into it or not, and when they found out you weren't, they just justify it by saying only joking? I implore people to listen to Benjamin Owen. He is a comedian who basically left Hollywood because of all this stuff. He made a video yesterday talking about all this stuff. He's got inside information from people in Hollywood, and he said he was disgusted with how many people are into young children in Hollywood. This has been going on since Hollywood began. Read the autobiography from Shirley Temple. She talks about it back from the 20s and 30s. This is not something new. Evil thrives when good men and women do nothing. And I am embarrassed on my other channel at how many people were justifying these things as jokes, and they are okay in their minds. And poor Dan Harmon and poor James Gunn for being put in this awkward situation. That's what they say. That's embarrassing. I do not approve of anybody doing these things to children. And it's going to start coming out. There was another Hollywood actor last night. His name is Isaac something. I forget his last name. But if you go under this channel, it's called Black Pilled. The video that I think the last video they made shows a live video chat from either Facebook or Instagram where this actor is saying, enough is enough. I'm tired of these lies and these secrets in Hollywood. And actually admits and points out Seth Green as a pedophile. People are starting to come out to this. And we, as human beings who care about the world, should not continue to look the other way. I have been totally attacked on my other channel. I have over 60, actually no, I think 90 thumbs down. Between 60 and 90 thumbs down on a video that says I'm disturbed with somebody mounting a baby doll and pretending to have a sexual act with it. You should have seen some of the hateful messages I got from people. These are fellow human beings. Evil thrives when good people do nothing. If we continue to be silent, these things get worse. There's a reason why Hollywood has what's known as the casting couch. And unfortunately, not everybody on that casting couch is above age. I mean, if you're an 80-year-old man and you want to sleep with a 20-year-old consenting adult, at least it's legal. But if you are somebody who has sexual fantasies at all about anyone underage, you should be ashamed of yourself and you should be thrown in jail. "17 is the lowest age in most states. Most are 18. It's bad enough if you go to that level. But babies, infants? What do you think happens to people that go to jail that are rapists and pedophiles? What do you think happens to them? By other criminals. Other criminals view a child molester as the lowest form of evil, and they are proud to actually hurt them, if not murder them. What does that tell you? If criminals despise pedophilia. Now, normally, like, especially recently, a lot of my videos have been very positive, very uplifting, but I also talk about how you have to learn from your mistakes if you want to grow. Well, we're making the mistake of pretending that Hollywood just cares about entertaining us. You know, remember the story of Hansel and Gretel, where the kids followed a trail of candy into a nice candy house and got devoured by a witch, or at least tried to be devoured by a witch. Remember Pinocchio, when before Pinocchio was a real boy, he was headed to school and meets a wolf and says, "Oh, you should come party with us. You could smoke, you could play pool, you could skip school, you'll have all this fun." And then all of a sudden you turned into a donkey and you were going to be used. Hollywood is trying to make you think that it is okay to joke about having sex with young boys and young girls. And if you are a parent, you should be disgusted by that and want investigations. Many actors have spoken out saying that there is pedophilia, and people laugh at them. That's how brainwashed most people are. I'm amazed that here I was thinking I'm making a video on my comic book channel, trying to help people see something that's quite disturbing, because as soon as I saw it, I was disgusted. And I like jokes, but I don't find pulling your pants down, some really overweight, disgusting old man pulling his pants down and mounting a baby, as something I find as entertainment. People like that should be investigated. And that includes the ridiculous comment about Alex Jones if he did it. I told people back in like 2012, 2013, don't listen to that fool. But again, people love to assume. So, here we go. I have about 43,000 subscribers on this channel. 24 people are watching this video. So my message is not going to get out there. My other video on my We Loves Comics channel was already flagged as inappropriate, which in a way I can understand that even though it's blocked out, but it doesn't surprise me. Evil thrives when good people do nothing. I have been over the years trying my hardest to help people see what's going on, only to be abused, attacked, made fun of, abandoned, ignored by even friends and family. But you know what? I am proud to do this alone if I have to. I am proud to know that I will not just idly sit by and just laugh off something that somebody does that is wrong. I'm just saddened by how many people would rather not be bothered and just think it's justified or it's okay. Say a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. The best part about where I stand, whether you think I'm being egotistical or not, I don't care. But even if the SHTF happens, and I'm not saying it does, but even if it did, it will not affect me at all. And when people learn the truth about what Hollywood is doing and what governments throughout the world are doing and the media is doing when it comes to children, because you cannot hold these things in forever. Eventually, like they say, there is no honor amongst thieves. Eventually somebody breaks their silence or somebody gains their conscience and actually says something. There are going to be millions of people embarrassed that they didn't believe this stuff and they actually attacked the very people who tried to wake them up. And that includes family members of mine. It's embarrassing, and I think it's time, if you think or you say you're a good person and you choose to be silent out of fear or out of worrying about somebody no longer wanting to be with you or talk to you. Okay, Vin Rubio, since you're somebody I don't even know and you're just going to say things like this, I'm just going to block you because obviously you know nothing about me. I despise Alex Jones. I warned people years ago, don't listen to him, that he's a liar. So obviously you're somebody who has never really been to my channel, and you are going bye-bye. So, good luck to you, sir. But that's a prime example of the type of people that I have to deal with. That people that make assumptions, they justify things. And you know what? I can't make videos about everything. And also, by the way, the Roseanne thing, the reason I couldn't do any video about it is my channel was blocked for 3 months. I barely was able to make any kind of video because if you get 2 or 3 strikes, they shut your channel down. So for 3 months, I had to basically walk on eggshells with my topics because at any given moment, they could have deleted my channel. So that's why I didn't talk about that stuff within that 3-month period. but thank you for your judgment, and thank you for proving my point. These are the people that are out there. And Nathan Kettle says, YouTube does a good job of hiding videos, even channels you're sub to. I get people telling me all the time, they didn't even know I still made videos because they were unsubscribed from my channel without them knowing it. There are people that tell me all the time, they try and share my video link and it doesn't work. Or they try and thumb up the video, it doesn't work. We need to really start talking about this stuff. If you're just tuning in now, when this uploads, listen to the tweets that James Gunn was saying. That was just some of them. They're disturbing. If you had somebody that you were having babysitting your child, if you read those from them, would you ever let that person within 1,000 yards of your child? And if the answer is no, then why are people defending this person? You know why people are defending him? Because they didn't read the tweets. And they just go by mainstream media and their bias. Saying, oh, well, you know, poor guy, he unfairly was ganged up on and got fired. You know, I believe in freedom of speech. But I also believe in consequences for that freedom. Because I don't have any children. But if I had a child and I hired a babysitter, and I found on their Facebook page them mounting little babies saying how they want to drug them or drug the family members so they don't wake up so they can have sexual intercourse with them. I don't care if it was 100% a joke. That person would not be alone with my child. So anybody out there that justified what, for example, Dan Harmon did as just a joke, I challenge you to find somebody else who finds that incredibly funny to babysit your child and let them be alone with them overnight. No cameras. No way to find out what they're doing. Show me that you truly believe that that stuff is just a joke. I promise you, nobody with the right mind would ever even contemplate that. You're supposed to protect your children. I've heard so many times over the years where children were afraid to say that they were maybe molested or raped or abused because they were afraid their parents would not believe them. How sad a parent do you have to be that if your child is coming to the one person or the two people that they are supposed to trust more than anything in life, that they're afraid to tell you that they've been molested or hurt or injured or whatever because they're afraid you won't believe them? That is disgusting. It actually, I've wanted to have children, but after seeing all this stuff, I am so glad that my wife and I have decided to not have children. My mind about having children will never change now after all this. If there are this many people out there that think it is okay for people constantly to joke about inappropriate touching of babies and calling it a joke, I am glad I don't have any children. And if you have children, keep these people away from them. And if your child ever comes up to you and says they've been touched inappropriately, the last thing you should do is not believe them because you love the person that they're accusing. Now, of course, you do need proof, but you should at least give the benefit of the doubt from somebody you're supposed to be protecting. This is embarrassing. There are people in the media, there are people in the government, there are people in Hollywood that because they make so much money, they don't say anything. Like I said, go listen to Owen Benjamin. He's a comedian. And he made a video yesterday about the Dan Harmon situation. And he talked about how he walked away from $1,000 upon $1,000 deals and how he was loved in Hollywood but couldn't stand the pedophilia. This is not a joke. They make it like a joke so they get you numb to it. It's like all the violence in movies. Do you think if you saw somebody get shot in the head now, you'd be grossed out and sickened by it? No, you've seen it so many times, you'd probably just walk by. What I find amazing is so many people cannot fathom this. I don't know. A part of me is glad that The majority of people that left those nasty tweets do not agree with me and made those nasty comments towards me. I'm glad that I don't understand their intellect and their thought patterns. And if that makes me seem superior, well then if it's compared to somebody that is okay with somebody touching a child, or at least making an image of touching a child appropriate, I'm glad to say I'm above them. I'll be proud of that. Because you know what? I may have said stupid things in my life. May have done stupid things in my life. But I ain't okay with somebody touching a child. Or somebody hurting an animal. It's disgusting. And I'm embarrassed for some of the comments that I had to read justifying it. So I challenge anybody to read James Gunn's tweets. And yeah, that's what Hollywood's all about. Miss Natasha says, Family Guy and American Dad make light of child abuse all the time. Because they want to normalize it. This is the thing that people don't maybe get. And I'm not saying you personally. I'm talking about the average person out there. The idea is, like they say, tell a lie long enough it becomes the truth. You show somebody something that's traumatizing, you show it to them enough, it's no longer traumatizing. You get used to it. Why do you think so many people get used to and fall in love with their abusers? What syndrome is that called? The Stockholm Syndrome. That actually they get so used to it, they actually start falling in love with the very person that abuses them or captures them. It becomes normal. That's the whole idea. Keep putting out things slowly, more and more. How many people right now are putting hormones into 5-year-old little boys because that little boy thought that for a moment they were a girl? That's child abuse. Now, if a person turns into an adult and decides that if an 18-year-old boy decides, you know what, I feel like I'm a woman. They have the right to be that. Whether I agree with that or not is irrelevant. But at 18, you're considered an adult. You can do whatever you want. At that point, your mind has started to develop to the point where you can think for yourself. And if you want to do that, more power to you. But if you're doing that to a 5-year-old child, you are a child abuser. There's a reason why children do not get driver's licenses. There is a reason why a 5-year-old cannot be president of a business or a country. It's because their mind hasn't developed enough to think clearly. And if you think it's okay to put hormone therapy into a 5-year-old child to make a determination that they know what they're talking about as far as their sexuality at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... then you are saying that a 5-year-old could run a country. A 5-year-old should handle a gun. A 5-year-old should drive a car. Because if you think they're responsible enough to know what sexuality they are, I'm sorry, but you are an idiot and a child abuser. You should have your children taken away from you and you should be thrown in jail. And you know why I say a 5-year-old boy? Because there was an actor that actually... Owen Benjamin attacked for doing that very thing. That he took his 5-year-old boy and started calling him a girl and started injecting female hormones into a 5-year-old boy, calling her a girl. That is child abuse. And actually Owen Benjamin, I give him respect for that, called him out on that, and all of Hollywood shunned him. So Hollywood was for the person putting female hormones into a 5-year-old boy and was shunning the person who said that is child abuse. These are the people we want to emulate. These are the people we want to give our money to. These are the people that we condone their acts. After all this, I am never going to a movie theater again. I am never giving my money to these pedophiles and supporting their disgusting lifestyle. And like I said, if you are of age, if you want to become a man or become a woman or be both or whatever, you know what? I don't have to agree with it, but God bless you, you have that right. But at 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, you don't know what you are at that point. That is why you don't get a license at 5. And you cannot fly a plane at 5. You cannot operate a gun at 5. You cannot become a leader of a nation at 5. Show me one 5-year-old in any Senate or any Congress or any judge. You just imagine if your life is on the line and a 5-year-old is the judge. You think you're going to get a fair trial? You think that person's going to know the law? And yet there are people that have been conditioned to think that this is becoming normal. Look at all the movies that are going out that are trying to teach people how boys and girls are just the same thing. They're normalizing it, and people are so brainwashed that they're actually saying, oh, it's just a movie, it's just a joke. I'm stunned by that. Absolutely stunned. And like I said, I know this world is all a game. But you know what? Even in games, you shouldn't be cheating. So even if that's 100% true, that this is some illusion or this is some game, you know what? If I'm, for some reason, chose to be playing this game, I want to play it fair. I don't want to be a cheater. I don't want the cheat codes. I don't want to be the bad guy. Some do. Some just want to do nothing and just enjoy the show. Well, if you enjoy a show where people are doing inappropriate actions towards babies, then you are a sick person and you need therapy. Nobody in the normal world does that, and does it repeatedly. People could show example after example of cartoons that are there for children that have sexual overtones. And you don't realize them until you're an adult. Look at the history of Disney and pedophilia, which I find very, hypocritical that Disney actually fired James Gunn for pedophilia, but yet, as you could see with some of the tweets I read, they've been there since 2009, 2010. These were shared with other actors. Any of them disturbed? Any of them report it? Anyone have a problem with it? Or they joke along with them? Ever hear of an inside joke? Sometimes you joke about things to make it seem like it's no big deal. There's a pattern. And Sovereign Hummingbird says, why are you giving him your energy? I'm not giving them my energy. And even if I did give them their energy, I could take it back in 1 second. They don't own my energy. I'm trying to give energy to other people to wake up. See, here's the truth about energy. You can give it, and you can also take it back. Your energy is like a fishing rod. You can cast out that rod, and all you have to do is pull it back. People don't understand their true power. And who's Gunn? James Gunn is the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, who got recently fired for his tweets, but the media doesn't want to share with you what those tweets are. So in the beginning of this video, I actually read some of them. And Nathan Kettle says, Hollywood's biggest director, Steven Spielberg, is disgusting. Yep, if people actually research these things, they would learn some very horrible things about these people. So this is not giving energy to negative people, because they don't have control over me. They can affect me for a second. Big deal. That doesn't change my life. There is no gun to my head because somebody thumbed down my video. I'm very emotional and intense when I speak. That's passion. That's not anger and frustration. I'm frustrated at the stupidity level of some people and the naivety and how they would rather make fun of somebody that's trying to address this problem than actually have a problem with the people that are making jokes about doing sexual things with children, whether they are really doing it or not. If somebody jokes about something too much, there's probably something underlyingly wrong with their brain's thought patterns. And that's at the very least. So trust me, Sovereign, I'm not giving them my energy. They can't keep it. They don't have the right to it because they don't own it. I'm loaning it to them for a moment and then taking it right back with their amazement of how easily it's done. I'm trying to wake up people to realize, because you need real eyes to realize, the power that you have. You are so powerful that when you do nothing, nothing changes. That's how powerful you are. You wonder why things haven't changed? Because you haven't done anything to change it. That's you're so powerful that you can change nothing by doing nothing. And you can change everything by just doing something. Throw one little pebble in an ocean and watch the ripples. And yes, Nathan, Corey Feldman came out against this and got smeared hardcore. And the cops wouldn't even help him. What does that tell you? People are bought and paid for. And the reason some of this stuff is coming out is because they've actually devalued their currency so much, you need more of it to pay for people's bribes. And you can only print out so much before you destroy it. People that are doing the wrong thing are greedy. They always want more. Oh, you want me to be hushed up? It's going to cost you more this time. Oh, you want me to stay quiet and not tell anybody your secret that could really destroy you? You better pay up more. Even the wealthiest people start running out when you have thousands upon thousands or millions upon millions of people you got to pay out just to shut them up. And eventually somebody grows a conscience. And that's what's starting to happen. And one day this stuff's going to come out. But let's not make it one day. How about 2 days? How about everybody that's listening to this start spreading this information, start sharing those tweets, let people see them. So they don't just assume, it's just tweets, and they see a pattern of a perverted person that has some weird obsession with young children. That's not, to me, funny. It's disturbing. It's creepy. And that's just if that's only a thought in his head and he never acted on it. I don't know, because thankfully, I don't associate with people like that. The most energetic people on the planet are children. There's a reason why vampires need as much energy as they can get. And don't worry, I'm not taking it personally. Believe me, I've been on this channel, my other channel, off and on since 2010. I've heard every name under the book. I've had every accusation thrown at me under the sun. I've been abused. I've been insulted. I've been, ganged up on more than I can imagine, and I still stand tall. And it shows the true power, how one person can avoid the thousands upon thousands who do nothing but be mean and cruel and joke at your expense, because they need the combination of all their power, and they can't even match the power of one. That's how strong you are. And you are, like I said, you're so strong, your power can shut off simply at the thought of not believing it exists. That's how powerful you are. You want to change the world? Well, then start changing the world. If you think it's small, well, you know what? The only reason a tsunami can kill you is because there are quadrillion upon quadrillion drops of water all combined to make that force. Just imagine if every single raindrop said they're insignificant and decided to stay at home. People do not understand their power. You are so powerful, you can convince yourself that that's ridiculous, and your power will prove you right. You ever wonder the things you believe in, why you all of a sudden get everything that justifies your belief system? It just miraculously comes your way. So, for example, if you believe in flat Earth, what's going to happen? You're going to get all information that justifies your belief. If you believe the Earth is round, guess what happens? You get all the justification to say that the planet is round. You think that's a coincidence, or do you think you are so energetically powerful that you will attract the very thing that you put your heart and soul and belief into? Even if it's wrong, you create it. And you're so powerful, you can say, that's crazy. And guess what? You will always have things to justify backing up your belief that it's crazy. It's amazing. That's the truth of this universe, is you are so powerful, you can shut off your own power by not believing it exists. Just imagine if you had the power to snap your fingers and create anything. What do you think is going to happen if you snap your fingers and say, I don't believe I have that power? What do you think will happen? Your wish will come true. You won't have that power because you won't believe you do. If you are about to get into a fight with somebody and you said, I'm not going to win, there's no way I'm going to win, and you just put your hands down and lay down and let the person beat the living daylights out of you, what do you think is going to happen? You create the very thing that you feel. Not what you believe. That's why your heart tends to contradict what your head says. And that's why somebody can say they love you because they say it through their head, but they don't feel it in their heart. Your heart is what's true. But they can't get to your heart unless they make it something that is heart-wrenching. Nobody can take your power, you can only give it. Whether you believe that or not is irrelevant. A magnet doesn't need to believe it has the power to attract things to it. It just does. So I want to thank the whole 23 people out of my 42,000 subscribers plus that are watching this video or had the ability to. YouTube should be ashamed of itself. It's part of the problem. They have no problem with showing plenty of stuff from pedophiles. But I have a problem with people that actually want to say that that's wrong. So, to those of you who actually show how powerful you are, even though YouTube has tried to block my channel for years and basically got 98% of my subscribers to never even know I make a video, you still managed to come here. You know why? Because you wanted to. One day people will realize their power. Sadly, the world convinces you to go against it, and you, again, are so powerful that you can shut off your own system like a light switch. But the beautiful thing about a light switch is you can turn it on just as fast. So anyway, thank you for listening to this. To those that are going to make fun of it or roll their eyes or make whatever judgments you want about me, it doesn't affect me. It's not going to affect me. You think it does. Maybe it's because I'm just trying to trigger you to show you how easily I can do it. The control goes by the controller. Whether you believe you are that or not, that's the difference. I know I am. You may believe you're triggering me. You may believe that you got the better of me. You may believe that you are frustrating or angering me. I know that you're not. And that's the difference. You believe, I know. And if you want to hate me for that, if you want to criticize me for that, when most of my videos are all about trying to help people, then you know what? I would rather be an arrogant person that actually wants to think about the life of other people's well-being than a selfish person that only cares about themselves. So if you don't like me for that, there's a wonderful thing called an unsubscribe button. Why are you still watching me if you don't like me? That shows your obsession. And that shows I'm so magnetic that I can even attract the negative. And guess what? I don't even know who you are. I don't even know that you exist. I don't even care to know, and yet your obsession keeps bringing you back to me, and you think you have control over me? Ha 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 ha! I enjoy that bittersweetness of that. And why am I talking this way? Because I can. And sometimes you need to just vent. And if you can't understand that, that's okay. Because this is for me. And it is for those who resonate with the level that I am speaking about. If you get offended by it, if you get confused by it, that's perfectly fine. You can judge me all you want. But the only person I worry about the judgment from is from me and those that I love. No, the person above you, Grim Presence, says, why is he talking this way? Sometimes mine is not to know the reason why. Mine is just to do or die. So even if they are, it's okay. You have the right to criticize. Trust me, I get criticized all the time. Nothing wrong with that. But it won't change what I do. And to me, yeah, and J-Man Truthseeker says venting is good. Because you know why? If you have to clean your dishes and you're using a sponge, if that sponge is full of water, sometimes you got to squeeze it out. That's all it is. It's getting rid of the negativity. So when I vent like this, some people mistaken it as, oh, look, he's lost it, or he's going crazy, or he's venting, or he's changing, or he's giving away his energy. No, I'm not. I'm clearing out the negativity, getting it out of my system into the atmosphere. And where it goes, that's no longer my concern. Nothing wrong with venting when you get it out, because you know what? I always feel better afterwards. And isn't that how you should feel? So I'm venting all of the nasty comments that people left, all the judgments people left, all the amazingly disturbing stuff that people were saying about my video, about trying to say that somebody mounting a baby doll is just not funny, and you should really look into some of the disturbing things. So all of that frustration, instead of keeping it inside, which would damage me internally, I am now venting it out, which means I'm squeezing that sponge, getting out all that dirty water, and I'm fresh as the beginning of a brand new day. And Sovereign Hummingbird, I'm not talking about this channel. I'm talking about my other channel. My We Love Comics channel. So no, nobody called you that here. So, Anyway, this is one of those interesting channels. This is one of those interesting videos. It also shows that people go through stages. People have different emotions. If you think you're going to spend your whole life trolling along with a basket of flowers, throwing them over your shoulders, skipping along, going tra-la-la-la-la, well, that's just not how life works. Sometimes you're going to have bad days. Some days you're going to have days that you just want to pull out all your hair and say, WTF. It's what you do with them that shows where you are headed. Some people will fall into alcohol and drugs or some other kind of addiction or abuse. Me, I vent. And if some people call me arrogant for it or judge me for it, you have that right. Groom Present says 1 negative comment needs 5 positive comments. Okay. If that works for you, that's fine. Or if you were referring that to me, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. I don't need anything. That's the funny part. Please call me Hummingbird one more time. Yeah, it's Sovereign Humanoid. I don't know why I was calling you Hummingbird, so I apologize for that. But sometimes the thing scrolls fast and I just look really quick. Or maybe from my sun gazing, maybe I'm blind. People love that. Oh, I love that when I started making those videos back in, what, 2011? Talking about the sun gazing and how to do it properly. People are like, oh, you're going to go blind. Well, it's 6 years later, still not blind. Although you'd never know it by me calling you Sovereign Hummingbird. So, my apologies for that. So, anyway, this has been an interesting ride. It is a ride. It is a roller coaster. And notice how, after I got all that stuff out, notice how my voice is calmer? See what I mean? If you hold stuff in, it affects you internally. And let me give you a little secret. You ever hear somebody say that you feel better after a good cry? Well, in your tears is toxins, poisons. So when you cry, you literally are relieving your body of harmful toxins that could poison your body. What do you think happens to those if you hold it in, like you're always taught? Oh, big girls don't cry, real men don't cry. So hold in all those toxins and see what it does to your body. So notice, after I vented, notice I sound clearer, more at calm and at peace. By their deeds you shall know them. I know me, and I know what other people judge and assume. That, oh, I'm just some angry person. To me, there's a reason why your tea kettle has a little hole on the cap. It's because you need to let steam escape. Because if that hole wasn't there, what do you think would happen to that teapot? And I don't know, Hans. Maybe the rant might start up again. You never know. But see my point? I vented. I got it out. It is now no longer part of my system. And you can hear it in my voice. That should tell you everything you need to know. But yet people will always assume. Because they think they know you. Nobody knows me better than me. Just like nobody knows you better than you. And yet this world is all about other people telling you how to think. How to be. Who to vote for. Who to like. Who to not like. And you allow them to pressure you into changing your own belief system or your own truth. And wonder why you're not happy. So to me personally, in my own world, I appreciate how I think. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. Because to me, it's nothing more than an opinion. And trust me, I used to let it get to me. And it didn't make me better. So, when you change your world, the world around you doesn't change. But the way it affects you does. Because I still have plenty of people to judge me. I mean, just look at that person with the assumption with the Alex Jones thing. I still have people totally making fun of me and attacking me and judging me. That hasn't changed. But it's my response to it. So that's the thing that people don't seem to get. They think that if you think positively, that all of a sudden the world will change. The world doesn't change. The world still has pedophilia. The world still has crime. The world still has people controlling us that we wish weren't there. But yet, if you don't let it influence you, it doesn't affect you. And you're right, J-Man Truth Seeker says our hearts don't lie. Nope, your brain lies. Your heart never lies. Your heart, that's why they say, follow your heart. They want you to listen to your head. That's why that song should not have been Hips Don't Lie. It should be Hearts Don't Lie. She had the right H word. Well, the right letter H, but wrong body part. So you can be shown every negative thing in the world. It only affects you if you allow it to. You have that much power. And that's why they want you to think people like James Gunn, people like Dan Harmon, and the hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Hollywood and in politics and in media that doing these things with children are just jokes. And if you want to believe that, you have that right. But I guarantee you, you would never want any of them to be anywhere near your child. And if that's the case, then is it really just a joke? And this is how much control you have, because I don't care, well, I do care that somebody like Dan Harmon could potentially be a pedophile. I don't know that for a fact, because that video did not show him mounting a real baby, thank God. But I wouldn't let a person like that, if I had children, anywhere near my child. And that's how you stop somebody. So let's assume somebody's a pedophile. And you know it for a fact. Let's say you have proof. And I'm not saying anybody in particular. Let's just say you know somebody that's been proven to be a pedophile. Well, if you have a child, and you keep that child away from that pedophile, then he can't do anything. But if you say, oh, he's a nice guy, or she's a nice girl, and they really are friendly, and they just want to be nice to my child, go play over their house. Don't be shocked if your child was inappropriately touched, because you were dumb enough to put your child in that situation instead of taking control of the situation. Like I said, there's a reason why a child at 5 could not make a choice of any government policy. It's because their brains have not developed enough. They can't even get a license to drive a car. And some people want to inject hormones into these children, thinking that a 5-year-old knows what sexuality they want to be, when sometimes a kid is just playing dress up. Anyway, for those of you who stuck around, I appreciated you listening to my conversation. I hope you can see and hear in my voice that once you vent, you feel better. If you hold it in, it's no wonder why you might be angry or stressful or sick your entire life, because you're not letting the toxicity out of your system, because the world has convinced you that you need to stand strong. You have to suck in your gut. You have to not cry. You don't have to do anything. Everything in your life is a choice, even to believe that it's not. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. And like I've said once before on this channel, don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.